And so you did not change the color once you bought it. No. You like that.
And I kind of like the green, and people have told me don't ever paint it because then we can't find you. I met a guy in Michigan and he goes, man, I saw your van in Florida this winter, you know, so come on in. I actually bought this picture in Texas 5 years ago. And when I built this cabinet, I had the picture on the wall over there, and I made the cabinet so that I could use that for a door. So,
so you built the cabinet around the
door. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
And that actually gave me the idea for these. I came up with this. These are artist canvases. You get them for 3 of them for $12.99 at Michael's, and they're cheap. They're light, and these are just wooden crates you can buy at Michael's. And I came up with the idea to make cabinets out of them and use these for the doors.
I've never seen that before. Yeah, that is an excellent idea.
It works really well. They're ventilated. As you can see, there's slats in them. So I have clothes on the other side in there. I don't have to worry about them mildewing or anything. Mm-hmm. And it's light. It's cheap. I put this 1x wood here, and that keeps everything back. I've never had anything fall out while I was driving. So.
All right. And how do you latch it? Just magnet latch?
Yeah, it's got a magnet here with a screw and a washer here that the magnet catches. And then if I want to keep them open, I just I put hooks up there.
I was wondering what those dangling hooks were for.
I actually want to change that to some kind of magnet where it just, if you watch this one, it'll do that on its own. But I want to just come up with some kind of magnet to catch them when they're up. I built a drawer recently, a few months ago actually. Again, I used to have the stupid Walmart drawers, and they just wouldn't hold canned goods. They didn't work, so I built a drawer just specifically for canned goods, and it worked good because it just spaces my fridge up a little bit, which makes it easier to use, and it was wasted space anyway. It's a Coleman. Got it at Walmart, and I actually plumbed in about a year and a half ago, a little over a year ago, I plumbed in a 20-pound tank on the back of the van, so I didn't have to buy the little green bottles all the time.
And what are you using to hold up your pans there?
They're old belts from thrift stores. I just cut them up and screw them to the wall, and it holds the pans up pretty nice. They don't fall when I'm driving. So, yeah, I like cheap, and I like different. You know, I don't want something to be. I don't want to buy it if I can make it.
And so this was the other tool cabinet that you were talking about.
Yeah. And this one, instead of being all drawers, has cabinet doors, and it's bigger storage. I have my Weber grill in here that's also a smoker, and I have a Coleman camp stove. Those are wonderful. It's a fold-up oven that goes on top of your stove, and you can bake in it.
Oh, wow. Do you use that very often?
I do. I actually use it quite a bit. Oh. This is my exhaust fan, and there's the over stove light, and then the switch for the exhaust fans right here.
That you put into a Spam can.
I put it into a Spam can.
So we have another Spam can.
Yeah.
And where did you get that exhaust fan?
Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason this is a baking pan that I cut the bottom out of, because the fan's thicker than the wall, so I had to.
That's a good modification.
Yeah. And then this, my stove hood is just a cookie sheet that's upside down. So
now, did you insulate the walls, or did it come insulated?
Nope. These walls are just basically a 1/2 inch thick. They're fiberglass on the outside, plywood on the inside, and then another layer of fiberglass on the inside, and that's just the way they made them. I did insulate the ceiling. There's 1.5 inches of hard foam in there. All right. And the floor is uninsulated, but I don't feel I need insulation other than the ceiling was in the sun. It would just get too hot. This is a raw aluminum roof, and it would get extremely hot. And then I buy these dog collars at Dollar Tree, and $1.25 Tree now, and they just work really well for hanging stuff in the van. These are my sawhorses. I've got a bigger dog collar here holding those up. But they're just really handy. Sink cabinet, I've got 12 gallons of fresh water under here and a 5-gallon gray tank. And this is just a rechargeable pump that's made to go on top of a 5-gallon bottle. And I just plumbed it in. It's got a hose that comes off the bottom that I can switch. I have 2 tanks down there.
What did you make your bed out of? Is it just?
It's just spaced up off the floor with plywood and stuff, and made out of wood. And this is my lumberyard under here. I work on a lot of people's vans and stuff, so I keep all my extra wood and
Your scrap wood.
scrap wood.
You're quite the Samaritan. You've
Well,
helped quite a few people out on the road since you've been.
yeah, I like working on stuff. I worked on cars all my life, so to work on stuff on the road's kind of fun for me, and it just gives me something to do. Well, this is I bought these at Harbor Freight. I've actually got 2 of them, and I originally I had plastic Walmart drawers here, and they drive me crazy. I didn't like them. They were, if you put any weight in them, they don't work. But this works. It just
So it's a toolbox, is that right?
it's a toolbox. Yeah.
Oh.
Originally, it comes with a set of wheels, but I left the wheels off. It's bolted to the wall, so it can't go anywhere. And it just makes really good storage. Very sturdy, and you just throw this over to lock it when you're driving, and it doesn't open. This is Barney. He's roughly 13 years old. I adopted him in Tampa Bay last year. He's blind, and he is the best little dog. Doesn't shed, doesn't bark, doesn't bite. He's about perfect.
And that's great. So you didn't leave on the road with him. You acquired him along the way.
Yeah, I'd had dogs all my life, and I needed a dog, so I got him.
Do you feel it's hard? A lot of people always ask this, but do you feel it's hard having a dog on the road?
Not really. I don't. We do pretty good. He's low maintenance, and again, he doesn't bark, so I don't know how he could be any better other than that.
Yeah. I've seen several of these spam cans around.
Spam's delicious, and the cans make good storage when you're done.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 575 watts of solar on the roof, and that's split up between 2 systems. I have a 275 watt panel right up here that goes through that charge controller, and then I have another 300 watts of 100 watt panels that go through this charge controller.
Why did you choose to do 2 separate battery banks?
Well, as I built my system up and my power requirements went up, instead of starting over, basically, I started over with another system and did the fridge.
And are you pretty happy with that?
I am, yeah, because if I have a cord here that if my fridge is my big power user, and if I run that 100 amp battery down, I can plug the fridge in over here and run it off the other system and let that system recover.
Sure.
That's an Alipicool, and it works pretty good. It's a fridge freezer. It's got 2 separate compartments with 2 separate thermostats, and so I can have ice cream.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah. And if I pull this divider out, then it would either be all freezer or all refrigerator, however I wanted to run it. I like to cook, but down there in my kitchen cabinet, I actually have a 14-inch Weber grill and a smoker, and so I smoke ribs and whatever. I love to cook.
You're eating well.
Yeah, and I like to cook for other people, so if I do smoke something, I can share it with a bunch of people. This is half of an old drop leaf table that I just used just the top of it. There's no legs under it. It's bolted to the wall and bolted to the cabinet, bolted to that cabinet. So it gives me storage underneath. And way underneath there is where my diesel heater is.
Oh, so how often do you use the diesel heater?
Well, lately, every morning. I don't use it at night. I don't like it to be hot in here at night, but in the morning before I get up, I can reach right over my head and hit the switch and turn it on, and 15 minutes later, it's warm in here. So.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And are those things pretty efficient? You've had good luck with it?
I love it. For $120, you can't beat them.
That's how much the diesel heater was?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea they're that cheap.
Oh, yeah. Some if you watch, you can get them for $100.
Oh, wow. That's as cheap as a little buddy heater.
And it's so much better. I mean, it blows the heat. It circulates the heat. It's dry heat. There's no moisture in it. There's no smell.
Oh, wow.
It's wonderful. It was originally a Ryder rent-a-truck. It was bright yellow, and they used it for several years and sold it to a company called ServPro, the disaster cleanup people, and their corporate colors are this green. So they painted it green.
All right.
Used it for several years, sold it to a cabinet shop in Ohio, and I'm from Michigan. I bought it in Ohio from them.
And so you did not change the color once you bought it. You liked that.
Well, I painted cars all my life for a living. So to paint something just to change the color for myself, I'm not going to do. But,
Gotcha, because that'd be work.
I kind of like and I kind of like the green. And people have told me don't ever paint it because then we can't find you. So.
Well, I will say, coming in to meet you here today, I was like, oh, there it is. It just calls to you.
Yeah, I met a guy in Michigan, and he goes, "Man, I saw your van in Florida this winter." You know, so.
Now, are you full time on the road?
I am. Last 2 years. Yeah.
Last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so, what inspired you to get on the road, or what was that like moment where you're like, I just got to hit the road?
I don't know. About 10 years ago or so, I've actually been a member of the forum for about 10 years, and it just fascinated me. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, I just determined that I was still working then, and I decided that I was going to go on the road when I retired.
And then, how long did it take you to build it out?
Well, I've had the van 5 years, so I'd say 5 years. It's a continuous work in progress, and just to make it more comfortable, more attractive to me, and just more what I want.
All right. And what has been your favorite part about being on the road the last 2 years?
Meeting people.
Meeting people.
I meet a lot of people.
Do you mind my asking, how much did you spend for the vehicle, and how much do you think it cost you to build it out?
Well, I bought it again 5 years ago before vehicle prices went insane.
True.
I paid $3,200 for it. It had 180,000 miles on it. So $3,200 for the vehicle, and overall I'd say I've probably got another 6, 7 in it, but that would be on the high side.
Okay, so probably all together maybe 10,000 or so?
Yeah, maybe probably not even that. Originally it had a roll-up door here. It was a cargo van. And I took that out. I didn't like the roll-up door. It leaked too much dust and dirt and wind. And so I took the door out, took the hardware out for it, and I built a wall here and put this RV door in it. I actually had to cut the RV door down by 9 inches. It was too tall. And so I cut the door down, mounted it, and that lasted for up until last year. The plywood I used started to delaminate a little bit at the bottom, and I ended up going with the cedar that's on here. These are pretty cheap. They're cedar fence slats. So it was cheap to do the back, and I think it looks better.
And this is where you built the box to plumb in your propane, it looks like?
Yeah, and that's actually, there's a plastic milk crate bolted to the wall, and then the wood's just screwed to it for looks.
For looks, for aesthetics.
Yeah. And then over here is the tank for my diesel heater, and that keeps it all outside. With the diesel fuel, you don't want sun to get to it. Diesel fuel, they call it diesel bugs, and it actually deteriorates the fuel if it sits in sunlight for too long. There's my gray tank in there. Yeah, these are fresh water here, and that one back there is gray water.
The bucket.
Yep.
And then is that hard to empty?
No, it's got an electric ball valve on the bottom of it. So you put a bucket under it if you want to catch it and hit a switch and it just drains. I see a lot of straight pipes off of sinks into gray water tanks, and you'll get smells from that. So you use that S-trap there and you don't get the smell. Yeah, I was in Maine last summer, and it rains in Maine occasionally. So I like leaving my window open even if it's raining. So I built those little awnings out of just galvanized sheet steel and a little bit of aluminum L bracket angle.
Now, do you have pretty good ventilation in there? Do you feel it stays pretty cool? And
I do. I have pullover screens for the front doors, and then I have a window just like this on the other side, and they all have screens. My back door has a screen, so I can sit out with my windows all open and screens on it so I don't get bugs. But then at night, even in hot weather, the best thing to do is leave this window open, shut every other window, and turn my max air fan on high, and it sucks air in this window and it blows it right across my bed.
That's perfect.
So it's excellent ventilation at night.
Scott, thank you so much for the tour of the van. It was amazing. I really loved it. I loved how you built it all out. Yeah. So folks out there, what did you think of his build? What was your favorite part? I thought the canvas ideas with the shelf covers, I've never seen that before, and just the fact that it's lightweight and everything, I thought that was brilliant.
And cheap.
And cheap, and I love both those things. Brilliant, cheap, and light. That's really trifecta right there. So folks out there, let us know what you thought. of the build and what was your favorite part. We'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, give us a big thumbs up, share it to friends, and we'll see you guys all down the road. So long, guys.
Get too close. I don't know.
That's right.
We can be like,
close.
hi, so tell me about your life, Scott.
Oh my God.